right? So let me first open Sigin for you guys. So Sigin is nothing but the command line window which I told you already. So you have to always open or launch Sigin using run as administrator. Always, whenever you will be launching Sigin, make sure you are launching using run as administrator in the administrator mode. Click on this. It will ask this. Okay, click on yes. Now you will be able to see this black window. So on this you have to write all the commands, right? So now this is already shown in video how to navigate to different directories and all those things. So whenever you want to run simulation, you have to change the directory, because if you type pwd and hit enter, so it will tell you pwd stands for present working directory, right? So it will tell you that presently you are in which directory. So you are in user directory under home. So you want to go inside the C folder, you want to go to the D folder. So you have to use cd, which means change directory D : and hit enter. Now if you want to see what all things are present inside the D directory, you have to type ls and hit enter. It will list out all the things which is present under the D directory. Now you have manually created a folder called Converge runs, right? And which you should do, right? So what you have to do is, before you start to run any simulation, what you have to do is you have to go to C, D, E, whatever directory you want. Don't choose C directory. Apart from C directory, choose any other directory. So you came into D directory. So what you have to do first thing is you have to create a new folder. Create a new folder with the name Converge, right? Hit enter. Now inside this folder, what you will do is you will create a subfolders. Now first challenge is on channel flow. So you'll create a folder, you will say channel flow. You have to create this folders manually. Okay, you have created channel flow, and inside this folder you have to export all the input files. This term you will not understand now, but when you start watching videos and when these terms are getting used, you will understand what I'm telling here. So what I'm trying to explain you is whatever the challenges and projects you will be doing, it should be under the same folder Converge. Now inside another challenge is backward facing. So create another folder, backward facing step. Let's say another challenge is throttle flow. So you have to, I'm just creating it now because I know all the challenges, right? So you don't have to create it on the very first day when you're doing. You have to create as and when you are going to attempt those challenges. So like this, each and every challenge will be in a proper order, and you will be having everything under the same roof, so that in future after 3 or 4 months when you want to see that, okay, I want to check what I did in channel flow, so you directly come to Converge folder. In that you can directly go to channel flow, right? If you are one simulation you are saving it in E folder, some in under Converge runs folder, some under Converge folder, it will be a mess for you. Correct? So don't get confused, because in the video we have shown Converge_runs. So that is the folder which we created manually, like I showed you here. So the name you can give anything, correct? So here I gave Converge. I can also give Converge_runs. And inside this folder, I will have the subfolders for each and every challenge. And I will be exporting the input files of particular challenge inside the particular folder. So if I'm doing channel flow, I will be exporting all the input files under the channel flow folder. Let's say if I'm doing backward facing step, I will create a new folder called backward facing step folder, and I will be exporting all the input files which I set up in the Converge Studio into the backward facing step folder. I will not export in channel flow, right? It makes sense, but a lot of people make this mistake. That's why I'm iterating this thing again and again. And if you are doing throttle flow, then you will create a new folder called throttle flow, and then all the input files you will be exporting into the throttle flow which are related to the throttle flow problem, right? Alright, so this is the first thing you have to do before you start with any challenge, or before you start with practicing, because for practicing also you need to create a folder and you have to run the things, correct? So like this, you have done one thing for the practice, then you are doing channel flow. So create another folders so that everything is organized. Right now you understood what I'm trying to say here, so I will not stretch this a lot, but I hope you understood this point pretty much clearly. But still, if you have any doubts, you can definitely ask your support engineers. He will be happy to help you out. right? So this is the first thing which you have to do. And exactly. Now, since one thing to understand here, okay, whenever you want to run any simulation, that you want to run channel flow simulation, which you set up in Converge. So after setting up the channel flow problem in Converge, you will be exporting the input files into the channel flow folder, correct? So now you have to run the simulation. To run the simulation, you have to come to Sigin, and once you come to Sigin, you have to navigate to this folder, channel flow. If you are not navigating to this folder and you are directly running this, you are directly using the command to run the simulation, it will not run the simulation, because that command will not find those input files which it needs to run the simulation, correct? So let's say if you have created a folder called channel flow inside the D directory, and all the input files are under channel flow, and you are running the simulation or using the command to run the simulation in the C directory, right? It will say that this particular thing, it was not able to find the input files. Definitely you will get this error. So to avoid those kinds of error, what you have to do is you have to navigate to that particular directory. So let's say you have a folder in D, so you have to write this command cd space D:. It means change directory to D. Presently it was at home user. So from home user, you change the directory to D, and inside D, what all things are there, if you want to see, you have to type ls. ls stands for list. So it will list out all the folders which are present inside the D directory. So you have created a Converge folder, right? Inside the D folder. So now inside the D directory, you will be able to see the Converge folder, if I am not wrong, right? So if you want to see that, you have to go through this, right? And you can find it out somewhere here, right? So since here you are not able to see Converge, because I launched Sigin, and after launching Sigin, I created a folder. So this will not work. It has to be refreshed. So to refresh, one easy way is to close the Sigin and again launch it. And let's say if you don't want to do that, then what you do is you can go one level up and then come back into the D directory. So how to go one level back? So presently you are inside the D directory. Now what I will do is, if I do change directory ... what it will do, it will take me one step up or one step back. Okay, and if I hit enter, now if I type ls, it will say that in which directory you want to go, C, D, E, F, G. Now if I go, now again I want to go back to D, right? Because I want to refresh it. So I refreshed it. Now if I go again back to C directory, change directory CD D : and hit enter. And now if I type, if I want to see what are all the folders inside D directory, I will type what? ls. Now hit enter. So now if I see, I will be able to get Converge. Can you see this Converge? Previously we were not getting. Now I am getting Converge. So now my channel flow folder is inside the Converge folder. So again I have to go inside the Converge folder. To go inside the Converge folder means I have to again change the directory. So I will, what will do? cd, what I'll do, type Converge, right? So let's say if you while giving the name to the folders and all, some might use capital C, O, N, V, R, G, anything like that, right? So what you can do is, if you don't want to write big names, what you can do is you can type cd space C and hit tab. It will auto complete, right? And now hit enter. Now you are into the Converge directory. Now if you type ls, it will list all the things which are inside the Converge folder. So what all things are inside the Converge folder? Can you guys guess? You can see here inside the Converge folder you have 3 subfolders, which is backward facing step, channel flow, and throttle flow. So if you do ls, I should be able to see 3 subfolders. I am able to see 3 folders, correct? Now let's say if you want to go inside the channel flow, because all the input files are exported from the Converge Studio inside the channel flow, right? So I have to again use what? If I want to go inside the channel flow, what I have to do? cd, and I will type C, and what I'll do, I will try to hit tab. If it works, it worked. And now I will hit enter. So now I am inside the channel flow folder, where you should be there in order to run the channel flow simulation. Now if I hit ls, it will list out all the things which are inside the channel flow. Now it is not showing anything because there is nothing inside the channel flow. right? Its folder is empty. But when you export all the input files from the Converge Studio inside the channel flow, there will be 8 to 10 files which will get dumped here. And when you type ls here, after getting navigated to the D folder and inside the channel flow folder, you will be able to see all those 10 files like you see all these 3 files here, correct? Right. So now once you are inside this folder, now you have to write a command to run your simulation. The command goes like this: mpixec.exe space -n space 4 space quotes, and now inside this quotes you will copy paste the path for the executable. So executable is nothing but it is a solver which will basically run your simulation. So what is the executable? Let me take you to the folder where the executable is residing. So you have to go into the C folder. Inside that you have to go into the program files. Inside that convergence science folder. Inside that converge folder. Inside 3.0.12 bin. And now this converge-intel mpi.exe is your executable. This is basically going to run your simulation. This is a kind of solver. Now you have to copy the path. So how you will be copying the path from here? It's very much easy. You have to click somewhere in this rectangle box. If you click, the path will get highlighted in blue, right? So but this is not the complete path. What you have to do is, you want executable, right? So just click once more, just click one more time on the same rectangle box, and then hit backward slash or backslash, and then type co, and then it will automatically pop up converge-intel mpi.exe. Now click on this. One window will pop up like this. You don't have to worry, just click on just close this window and again click on this rectangle box, and then you will get the entire path. Now this path you have to basically copy. So right click, copy, and now you come back to Sigin window, and then you have to just right click and paste. Control V will not work here. And now close the quotes, space restricted space deb null log file ampersand. So basically this is the entire command which you will be using throughout the coursework to run any simulation, right? So your cell count for any case should not go beyond 0.5 million, which is 500,000 cells, right? If it is going beyond that, your simulation will crash, because the license which we are providing you is only to handle 500,000 cell count. Okay, so that's why you are writing restricted in it. If you can see here, that's why this is the reason you are writing restricted. And what this additional thing is all about, correct? This thing. So this is nothing but a command to dump a log file. What is a log file? So log file is nothing but which will keep a log of everything. So whatever is happening on the screen here, the same thing will get dumped into a log file. So let's say if your simulation is crashing at some point and you are not getting a error message that why your simulation has crashed, right, on the screen, then if you have a log file, you can open the log file using Notepad or Notepad++, and you can go through the log file. At the bottom there will be an error message. So it's always a good practice to have a log file for any simulation you are running. So make this as a habit from day one, right? So what only thing which you have to do is you have to follow this command to run any simulation. That's it. Later you will understand in much better way and with much more clarity what this command is, like what is n, what is for, what is log file. All the things will get clear slowly, but you will learn definitely, but in a very brief manner. 4 is here, the 4 you are seeing is nothing but the number of processors. right, on which you want your simulation to run. So it is for the parallel processing. So if you're using only one processor, it means you are doing a serial processing, and if you're running your simulation on more than one processor, it is parallel processing, right? So parallel processing, if a load is distributed among 4 people, right, the work will get done faster, right? And if you are giving the same work to a single processor, it will take a lot of time, right? So this is what n represents. N is number of processors, and the number following it will be the number of processors used to run a particular simulation. So this is one command which you have to basically use throughout your coursework. And another commands which you will be using, which might be handy while running the simulation. So one more thing in this command is AND. So what is this ampersand? Correct. So this ampersand indicates that your simulation will run in the background, meaning whatever the, let's say if you don't use ampersand, then you will be able to see all the output on the black screen, right? And you will not be able to do any other task if you want to do. Now let's say if you are including ampersand, the job will be submitted and it will be running at the background, so that if you want to do something else, if you want to navigate to some another directory, and if you want to look for any other files, right, then you can do those things. But if you are not running the job in the background, and your job, and you are able to see all the output on the screen, then you will not be able to do all those things. So let's say if you are running a job in the background, which is preferable. So now how you will come to know that your simulation, where your simulation has reached, or whether your simulation is finished or not, correct? So there is a separate command to check that as well. So what is that command? So let me delete this command for now, correct? Okay. So this is the one more usage of log file you'll come to know about it. So let's say you submitted your job and it is running in the background because you used ampersand after the whole command. So now if you want to check, let's say after 20 minutes you want to check that whether your simulation is finished or not, what we'll type is tail -10 log file, right? So the log file which you have dumped, in that all the screen output is getting dumped, correct? So now when you write tail -10 log file, what it will do is it will show the last 10 lines of the log file. So this way you will understand that, okay, till what point or till what time my simulation has reached, and let's say your simulation is finished, then you will be able to see the summary of the time, correct? So you will understand, okay, now summary has come, it means my simulation is finished. So, and another thing, let's say if you have submitted your job at the background, and now you decided that, okay, I want to see everything on the screen as well. What you can do is, you can basically, instead of 10, you can, so if you put 20, it will show last 20 lines. If you put 30, it will show last 30 lines, right? So general practice is last 10 lines, because there is no need of looking at the last 30 lines, right? You just want to see whether your simulation is finished or not, or and till what time it has reached. So last 10 lines are sufficient. So let's say if you want to look at a continuous data on the black screen, then what you have to do is basically you have to take tail -f. Tail -f log file, it will start dumping all the output on the black screen. So this is the second command and usage of log file, right? And one last thing which I want to basically talk about is about one error, right, which almost everyone, like majority of the population, will face. And that error is this. Let me take you to that. So the error will be unable to decode host port from this following number, and the output will look something like this, right? You can see this, right? Black screen. So if any one of you is getting such kind of error, the simplest thing which you have to do here is the only one reason why you're getting this error, which is your MPI, basically this thing, right? When you set your environmental variables, there is one Microsoft MPI and another is conversion science folder, right? So in both the folder there is a file called mpi.exec.exe. Now since you are running Converge simulations, you need mpi.exec.exe file from convergent science folder and not from the Microsoft MPI folder. So to give you the better clarity, let me go to the C drive, program files. So here if you can see, there is a Microsoft MPI folder and convergent science folder. So if I click on Microsoft MPI, if I go into bin, there is a MPI.exec file. And also if I go into convergent science folder, Converge 3.0.1 bin, MPI Intel 64 bin, and here also you will be able to see MPI.exec.exe. But now we have to decide, right, which one to take. Both are different. Okay, so if you're running a simulation and by mistake, if a solver is picking, instead of picking this MPI.exec.exe, it is picking from the Microsoft MPI folder, it will throw this particular error, which is nothing but unable to decode host port from this. Correct? So what you have to do is just you have to right click on this PC, go to properties, go to advanced system settings, go to environmental variables. Now in this, under the system variables, right, you have to go to the path which is here, double click on it, and now here you will see lot of paths. So basically why you are getting, or anyone who is getting the error is, you're in this Microsoft MPI bin, right, this thing, this might be above all the Converge paths. So let's say if I move up this, yeah, so in your case this Microsoft MPI/bin will be at the first place, and after that there will be convergent science paths. So that's why what solver is doing is, when you're running a simulation, it is seeing this path, and since it found this path first, it will pick up the MPI.exec.exe from this particular path and it will try to run, but it will throw an error because that particular executable is not from the convergent science folder, but it is from the Microsoft MPI. So now what is the easy thing to do? Just bring this path below all the convergent science paths, right? So just you have to click on move down. Here you can see here the tab, right? Move down, move up. So you have to just click move down and bring this path all the down and keep it after all convergent science paths. So these are all convergent science paths. Okay, so let's say till this point you have the convergent science path. After this path you can put Microsoft MPI, right? Microsoft MPI bin path. Now if you click OK, click OK, click OK, make sure you click on 3 OKs. If you are just clicking on close, it will not get refreshed, okay, or it will not get saved. If you want to save the settings which you have done, you have to click on OK, and then finally you can close this window. And then relaunch Sigin. Relaunch Sigin means again just close this, and again you have to go to Sigin, right click and run as administrator. Yes. And then you can navigate to your directory in which you have exported all the input files by cd, d and list and all those things, which I have already discussed in this lecture, previously. So after navigating to the correct path, just use the command which I just showed, MPI.exec.exe space -n4, that path, correct. Okay, I need to again copy, but I will not show that again because I've already shown. So copy that, then restrict it, deb null, a log file and %, correct, and it will start running, and this error will go away. This error will, and also we have written an article on this, right? So if you still have any doubts, you can come here and take a look. The link to an article will be provided below the videos, so you don't have to worry. Any error or any issues if you are facing while setting up or running the case, make sure you scroll down a bit. Below the video there will be links to an article for the, like, mostly we have covered all the errors while setting up the case and while running the case, right, mostly. So there is always an area or room for an improvement, but mostly till now whatever we have come across, we have written an article or created a video on that. So nothing to worry about. What you have to do is you just have to scroll down a bit below the video there will be links to an article, right? And if you don't find those links, you can directly contact us and we will be happy to help you out. Correct? So with that, I would like to conclude this video. Thank you guys.